No, he's got a minor injury. He'll be day to day. Yeah.
I want to ask you about Leon Draisaitl, and what were your impressions when he came in at camp? And I guess was he a guy that was penciled in to have to win a job, or a guy that maybe a guy that had to lose a job to?
Um, well, I got to think of the definitions of those. He was a guy that I was anxious to see, I guess is the best way of putting it. And I want everybody to win a job. I want the players to know, I think you figured that out a little bit, that we really truly believe in them and that we can help them. And Leon is the same. That doesn't mean there's going to be days where we're really unhappy with them and, that type of stuff. But Leon, we want him to succeed. We want him we want him to play on the team. But he's going to basically dictate that. With this play, I think he's done a tremendous job so far. And, if he's ready to go and he can get what he needs to grow his game and help us succeed here in Edmonton, then that's where he'll play.
Is he valuable because I know he's going to play on the wing, but he's a de facto center. If someone goes down, you have him already.
Well, being a utility player is a great thing. We had Marlowe and Pavelski. It's been documented in San Jose. But somebody went down through the middle. They're nice options to put in there, and Leon can go there as well. And we'll likely see Leon playing in the middle throughout exhibition season as well. I want him to believe and know and understand that in long term, he has a chance to be a big, strong centerman. Short term, he's got to learn to play the wing as well, and perhaps his minutes will go up, and he'll play with different type of player than he would normally.
Todd, I know you touched on it a bit last night, but can you articulate what the message is to each group? The group that went on first, the group that goes on next, and what the dynamic is between the two groups as far as
there is no message. It's basically what they read into it. If I'm a player, I'm looking and I'm saying, geez, this group's full of veteran NHL players, and this group doesn't have any in there. So if that's how you're looking at it, you think that we've divided NHL to American League. And it can look that way, it can come across that way, but I do know there will be some players from the other group that are going to play on our team at some point, and it could be as early as this year. I told our players at the opening meeting that this would happen, and I also gave them a list of about 10 or 11 players from my days in San Jose that ended up playing on the hockey club. And they came from that group, and they took jobs from this group, and it was a powerful thing, powerful. Initially, when you first start with it here in Edmonton, players won't know how to behave. And it's a little bit of a test for them. Are they down in the dumps and they let themselves go? Or do they push themselves into that other group and take off with it? Vice versa can be said. Am I comfortable here? Jesus is good. Everything's going well. And you let your guard down. I think it creates a little bit of a competitive environment as well.
So I imagine, I don't know if you did this from day one as a head coach, but where did you first witness this tactic with the training camp? When did you implement?
We did it in San Jose, and it gives us a chance to get ahead. I think it does. We can continue. We can work on special teams and practices without units, without. Today we did some power play stuff with units that would likely play together. And we're doing that 5 days into training camp now. So it should give us a head start, especially with a new group of coaches and players. It should give us a head start. And the same thing can be said for Group B. It should give them a head start as well.
Right from day one, you had lines and D pairings together that from the outside looking in, you could go, that conceivably could be the way they start. Right from day one, the messaging seemed pretty clear to everybody if they're reading into it. Is that important that there's no ambiguity, everybody seems to know exactly where they stand?
Right now, but we're only 5 days in. If you think about it, we've spent 5 times 2.5, what's that, 10, 12 hours on the ice together. That's it. There's a long path to go yet. And what will happen tomorrow with our group is you'll see that the groups, they wear the way they work today. We'll have a morning skate with Group A and a morning skate with Group B, and then we'll pull from both and we'll blend together for the game. And that's everybody's opportunity to move around and create movement within those groups. Competition right away.
Todd, it's a small window. You mentioned the 5 days you've been with the club. Do you see one big overriding challenge facing you and the coaching staff to get this group to where you want them to be?
Actually, I've been impressed with our group so far as their openness and willingness to accept some new ways and some new challenges. So that's been a real rewarding thing for us so far. They're trying to implement things. For me, when it's all said and done, 3.47 goals against, I believe, or 2.7, I'm not exactly sure on the number, a night doesn't get you anywhere. So defensively, keeping the puck out of our net is going to be our biggest challenge, I believe.
Where does Darnell Nurse, we're making a lot of these two groups, but.
Yeah, you are.
You told us to.
No, I just told you we were going to have two groups.
So what should, I guess, what do you think Darnell would make out of it, and more importantly, where you see him sort of going short-term, and it sounds like maybe long-term, he's a guy that will be here, it's just the timeframe of.
I think Darnell would have very easily fit into the early morning group today, without a problem. And I think you'll see Darnell in that group over the next little bit. Simple as that. And I think that he has every tool that's needed to play in the National Hockey League. Will he need some time? We'll figure that out as we go. But I think he's going to be a very good National Hockey League player for a lot of years. And you know, it's not even a test for him. We're not practicing with 9 defensemen. It doesn't work that way. And don't be surprised if you don't see Darnell in our group real quick for his opportunity.
Todd, you said you weren't a huge fan of the split squad games because you don't have that visual first impression. From the reports you got last night on how the game went in Calgary from your assistants, who helped themselves? Is there a guy or two?
Well, we got to watch a bit of it, you know, this morning. There's just not enough time to get every detail out, but we did spend some time watching the Calgary game. We looked at chances for, chances against, some special team stuff, and the Letestu line looked like they really played well, and they should. They're veteran players that play a real honest game. There's not a lot of cheat in Korpikoski, Hendricks, and Letestu. They scored a goal that was a very gritty, hungry goal in and around the blue paint. They were responsible defensively. They did a good job of penalty killing. So those were signs that we expected to see and we saw. So that's a real good thing for those three. Darnell, Reinhardt, those type of players contributed to the win there as young players. You know, and then I think it's much too early for me to be throwing names out there and misleading either players or you as the media, because I'm still trying to figure it out.
I mean, Darnell, you know, he got into a scrap in Penticton. Last night, he just seems to be playing with an edge and putting himself in situations where he's kind of showing he's willing to do anything. What do you read into those two things from Darnell in particular? I
think you've got him pegged. He's willing to do whatever it takes to play the game. I think that's a great thing. He knows what he needs to do, and he's willing to do it. So it's a positive thing for him and for us.
Lander said after the game that they were excited to play the third period, even though they were down 2-1. A team that had a lot of disappointments last year. But I know it's day one of the preseason, but is that the type of attitude you hope to have, that whether we're up 3 or down 3 going to the third, let's tackle what's ahead of us?
Well, it's a split squad game on September 21st. That was a big period for us. It's amazing. I don't know if I would have said that in Detroit or San Jose, but for our group right here, that was a big period for us. Organizationally, the ability to compete through adversity and push the game a little bit further and find a way to claw back in was a big period for us. I don't care if that's played in June or in, you know, September, what we're in. Those are big moments for our team right now, and the excitement of playing there and the want and the will to go get it done is something that we need. And if Anton is telling you that, I'm happy that he's recognized it.
You said you'll deal with the 3-on-3 later in camp, but you will get it tested.
We will, and I guess are we playing it already tomorrow? Boy, we should have dealt with a little bit of it, hey? Hopefully we don't get to that spot, but yeah, if we get to 3-on-3 tomorrow, it's going to be an experiment, and we're going to just watch what happens. We'll talk a little bit about it on the bench, but the value of 1 point within 5 minutes, it needs our attention. it just doesn't need our attention 5 days into camp yet. We've got enough going on just with overall 5-on-5 play. So we'll get to it eventually. We're collecting information from other games and looking at how the goals were scored and that type of stuff. And we'll see what's going on around the league. Maybe we'll be taught some things.
Do you accept any AHL coaches that?
We have our whole staff here, and they happen to have one of the top records last year in the American League. So we've watched them play. We watched Oklahoma City play last year in 3-on-3 situations, and we think there's some tactics to it, but we've got to experiment with it later on.
You mentioned you've been really busy, but I wondered, John Triarella got hired and back kind of in the coaching.
I had a text with him yesterday. I like Torts. Torts and I consider him a good friend. I got to coach in an all-star game with him. I'm excited that he's getting back and having a chance.